So I've been seeing a psychologist this time round for eight sessions, and this is a clinical psychologist, and in Australia they can't diagnose anything, they're just purely there for counselling. But so he's the one that diagnosed me with bipolar type 2, even though he he was the one that first suggested it, and then I did my research, and that seems like, whoa, that is me. And then he kind of refused to even chat about it, and I sort of said, okay, well, if we're going to keep chatting, then I want to know if this is me or not. So he did a stupid little test, which was bogus, and yeah, it diagnosed me. And then I went to my GP, and my GP said, a clinical psychologist cannot diagnose you, so we're going to have to send you to a psychiatrist. So I saw a psychiatrist, and she said, look, yeah, it sounds like you've definitely got bipolar 2 tendencies, but I can't diagnose you in one session, so come back in a month. So anyway, that was where I was up to. And then, so I saw my psychiatrist for the second time a few days ago, and told it had been quite a crazy month. I'd sort of, as I might have said before in some other videos, I haven't had a relationship in 11 years, which is something that I really struggle with. And that's one of the reasons that I'm seeing psychiatrists and psychologists, because I don't think that's normal, and I want to have a little bit more of a less lonely and more normal life. So, but I went through a few very, very big extremes in the last month. So I went, so I let somebody into my life, and well, went on a few dates, and it seemed like it was really going somewhere, which was kind of cool. And then had like 3 dates in 5 days, and it was all kind of going really fast, but feeling really comfortable, and I was just completely myself, which was interesting. And then he decided that he didn't want to be in contact with me anymore, and didn't tell me that he didn't want to be in contact with me anymore, just stopped contacting me. But I still see him on a regular basis at a weekly thing that I go to, and he talks to me, but he doesn't want to contact me outside of that. So he's just not interested, clearly, which really hurt. And it was sort of an extreme pain that I think, I haven't allowed myself to feel in a while, because for some reason pain scares the absolute bejesus out of me. But I felt it, and I got through it and came out the other side quite quickly. So, and I kind of went, okay, well, at least I experienced going through pain, and I got over it. So that's kind of cool. And then, so a couple of weekends later, I went out and got drunk, and I hadn't had a drink in 6 months. So that was a very bad decision, and yeah, decided to have a bit of a one-night stand, which is something that I tend to do when I'm drunk, which is why I don't drink. So yeah, that was kind of very much going completely backwards to my old ways, and I felt very ashamed about that. And then the next weekend, I went to a fetish party, which I've never been to anything like that, but I just saw an invite for it on Facebook, and kind of went, I think that would be kind of fun. And because I really wanted to make a crazy costume, because I'm a bit creative, and yeah, I just thought maybe these people will be a little bit more abnormal like me. So I went along to the fetish party, and it was a lot more tame than I thought it would be. It was more just costumes, and but I met a lot of people, but I met a guy there, and did some interesting stuff, just him and I. So that was, and that was me being completely sober, and I felt really okay about it. I didn't feel any kind of what's the right word? I didn't feel ashamed of it whatsoever. I felt liberated, actually. And I found myself wanting to be the center of attention as well, so that was kind of an interesting realization. I've always known that, but for me to admit that that's exactly what I wanted that evening was, yeah, interesting to say it out loud. So anyway, I told my psychiatrist about this, and she said, okay, so it's been a very extreme month, from extreme more normalcy to very extreme actions. And she said, look, I'm thinking that maybe instead of bipolar 2, it's more leaning towards, what's it called? A personality disorder. And I said, but isn't bipolar 2, doesn't that include, different sexual behaviors and that kind of thing? And she said, well, yes, but I'm thinking that it's more a personality disorder. So she said, but I'm not sure, so there's still much more investigation to be done, so I'll see her again next year. And then and she said, one of the other things she said was, look, you're obviously extremely high functioning because you run your own business, and I can tell that you're a very intelligent person, and so I think that these things, they, even though there might be a label, you're still high functioning, so it's not something that you need to really worry yourself about. So that was kind of cool. Anyway, so then I went and saw my psychologist the next day, this one that I've been seeing for 8 sessions, and I've been struggling with him and his theory of treating me. And so he said, oh, how's your last couple of weeks been? And I told him, that what I'd been doing. And he didn't bat an eyelid. He just said, okay, well, that sounds, I'm not surprised by any of that. Let's move on and talk about, your intelligence level. And because he's saying that I don't think I'm as intelligent as I should be, which, no, I think I'm quite fine with my intelligence level. So I kind of thought, okay, I've just told you that I went from having, my first sober sex in 11 years and, getting hurt by that and then coming out of it, and then getting drunk and sleeping with somebody, and then being sober and being in a more fetish environment. And you don't think that that's anything to discuss? Are you kidding me? Like, that's pretty extreme kind of month. So anyway, he went on to sort of say, okay, so tell me why you're not more intelligent than you are. And he has this scale of, 1 to 100, and, I sort of said, okay, well, I think I'm a 60 in intelligence level, and but I'm okay that I'm a 60. Like, I don't need to be a 90. I don't need to be a 65. I'm quite happy with being a 60. And he said, no, look, you're obviously not. And most people can roll off 10 reasons why they're not more intelligent than they are. And the only one I could actually think of was that I went to a country school, and, we didn't have the latest technologies and, that kind of thing. And then he sort of